Good morning guys, today I'd like to talk about the Canon M200. There's some things I like, and some things I don't like. Stick around and hear my thoughts. We're Mark and V, and this is our adventures. This is an entry-level camera that comes in just above £500. For that price you get a kit lens which is a 15 to 45mm, which is great because when you hold it, you can hold it at arm's length and you can see you, and it's got plenty of background as well. So now I've taken the camera out and we're going to walk around a bit with it. I've got the camera at arm's length, and as you can see there's plenty of space and you can see around me. I'm not really cropped up if I come in. It's what some cameras are like. However, the lens is a variable aperture lens, which means it's not very fast, and because it's not very fast it means it won't perform very well in darker circumstances, and if you raise the ISO obviously it's going to make the picture noisier. The camera does however have a built-in flash, which is okay for photos, but if you're going to use it for video I think you need some other light source. The camera does have this novel little lock on the lens which stops it from opening once it's locked. It's quite tricky to get used to, but I suppose it's quite handy if you've got it in your pocket and you don't want it to open up accidentally. The camera has an ISO rating of up to 256,000. It comes with a 24 megapixel sensor using the Digit 8 processor. This can also be found on the current Canon 90 and the M6 Mark II. The camera weighs 299 grams, which makes it nice and light and a nice camera to carry around when you're travelling around. It makes it a perfect travel camera, a camera for occasions. If you want to carry it in your pocket when you're going to a wedding, or if you're just taking it out for the day trip with the family. Camera's definitely made for somebody who's on the go. It's obviously a slim body design. The camera can shoot video at 4K at 24 and 25 frames per second. The camera can do 60 frames per second at 1080p, and it can also do 120 frames per second at 720p. The camera also has a 4K time-lapse feature as well. It's also worth noting that in 4K your sensor is cropped by 1.7. Photo-wise it will shoot at 6.1 frames per second, which, when you consider the competition, is relatively slow. Most cameras achieving 10 frames per second. But it can shoot in 14-bit RAW, which makes editing in Photoshop or Lightroom an absolute pleasure. JPEG quality is absolutely brilliant as well. The colours out of the camera are really good too, and I think we can thank Canon's colour science for that. The buttons on the camera are minimal. On the top you have a selector between photo, video and auto, and you also have the power button within that button, on and off. And then to the right of that you obviously have the button to take your photos with. And then on the back of the camera we have the menu button, a record button, a preview button, then the Canon toggle wheel. Everything is available within the touchscreen as well. And if you're used to Canon cameras, the menu that you're presented with will be very, very familiar. The camera has eye autofocus and it moves around with me. And of course that focus is good because of Canon's dual pixel autofocus. The camera also has a flip out screen, which is really great when you want to use it for vlogging. You can actually see yourself and you can actually frame yourself up and know exactly that you're in the centre of the picture. And of course on the flip up screen, unlike the Sony range, all the menus are available. You can actually access every menu with a touchscreen. And another great feature is the fact that you can turn the camera 90 degrees and have it in vertical mode, which is obviously ideal for YouTube Shorts, Instagram Stories, TikTok, whichever one you use. Communication wise, it has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and GPS via your smartphone using the Canon Companion app. Ever tried saying that when you got time? Of course, using the Canon Companion app, you can also remote control the camera as well. You can upload your photos quite quickly to social media should you want to. So you can take the photo on your camera and within minutes you can be uploading it to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you choose. That's my Instagram there. There are, however, a few negatives with this camera as well. There is no mic input, and the quality of the onboard camera mic isn't brilliant. I've got one PC in this room currently, and we're going to switch over to the ambient sound now. And you can hear the difference in the sound. It picks up that computer really bad. Now if I switch back to the other mic I'm using in the room, you can hear instantly the difference. Now that is a big problem, I think. Firstly, if you're going to be using this camera out and about, you are going to need an external mic. So then you have to decide how you're going to do that. Are you going to have a separate mic recording system and have to tie up the audio to the video post? Do you want to be doing that? Do you want to be bothering with that? So that's something you've got to think about, and I think that could be a big issue for a lot of people. Actually, having said that, I took a camera out last night and walked around with it for a little bit, testing it, and the sound came out really good. I was really impressed. So maybe the sound quality in the room is not very good. You have a listen to it and see what you think. Here's a little clip. Well, sadly, because the sun's going down, I think we're at the point now where we can't really show how good the camera is if we're taking photos, but we're in this sort of dim light now as the sun goes down a little bit. There might be a bit of a sunset in a minute, so if there is, we'll try and take a few photos and do a bit of video of that as well. I'm not really sure whether it will be or not. I'm leaving the camera on automatic settings. I'm not changing any of the settings, so this is exactly what you'd be getting if you were to use the camera as well. So hopefully this is going to be a good idea and give you a good it's going to give you a good idea whether you really want to buy this camera or not. And here is a bit with me in the car while we're driving, and I think you can hear it's not too bad either. Make your own mind up. Maybe my first impressions are wrong. I don't know. You listen and see what you think. I'm not sure what the quality is going to be like of the sound. It will be interesting to see. I'm a bit worried that the car noise might be overtaken, but we'll see. Another downside of this camera is that it only shoots 29 minutes and 59 seconds of video at a time. Now that sounds alright, but it can be a problem. Sometimes, like me, when you're trying to do a video and you're making all the bloopers in between, it takes you a lot longer to do your 10-minute video than half an hour. Yeah, believe me. Something else that I also noticed with the camera the other day when I was filming a video is that it overheats. I had filmed probably about 40 minutes worth of video. Now that was inside the house, and it was just a normal day. Central heating wasn't on, so it was ambient temperature in the house. So a little bit disappointed with that. And if you're using it in a warmer country, I wonder if it's going to be more of a problem. Talking about the battery life, I didn't get very long at all. I got, I think, probably 45 to 50 minutes per charge. However, Canon seems to think that you should be getting 90 minutes to a battery. Now it's a brand new battery, so there's no reason I should be getting less, unless the fact that I'm just using it in one go, that makes the battery go quicker. Canon says that you should be able to take 315 photos, or if you switch to eco mode, you should be able to get 485 photos per battery charge. I haven't tried that, so I don't really know. I don't take a lot of photos these days, just the occasional ones. The camera doesn't have a viewfinder, but do you need a viewfinder? I don't think I do. Unless you're going to do a lot of professional photography, I think the screen at the back is perfectly adequate. So overall, the camera gives you brilliant photos and video. But depending on what you're going to use it for, you could find yourself a bit limited. I bought this camera for myself. It wasn't given to me, I actually paid for it. And I thought it was going to be a worthy addition to my kit. But already using it, I'm finding lack of mic input is a real problem already. And I think that's going to be problematic as time goes on. Not only that, I think the 30-minute recording is an issue for me. It might not be for you. And when you're out and about, you're probably recording small snippets every time, bit of B-roll here, bit of talking to the camera, so you're probably not doing much more than a couple of minutes at a time. But when you're doing it like this, it does become a problem. Battery life is also quite poor, but that can be overcome. We can buy extra batteries, and you can always have extra batteries with you. In fact, I think we all always buy extra batteries, don't we? Just to be sure. It's better to take an extra battery out and not use it than run out of battery when you're out and about. There are loads of Canon lenses out there, so that's a big plus for this camera. And there's adapters available, so you can make older lenses fit this camera. So again, that's a big plus. Given all the facts, nothing is perfect, and you really have to make up your own mind whether you think this camera is the camera for you or not. For me personally, I think I'll probably move this camera on and I'll look at something else. That's my wife sneezing in the other room. I think lots of people will really enjoy this camera and have no issues with it at all. Well, I think I'm going to draw the video to an end now. If you've enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you next time, guys. Bye. Well, as I bring this video to a conclusion, a little update. I've sold the Canon M200 and I've bought myself a Sony ZV-E10. So we'll see how that is. I'll do a little video on that soon. See you later, guys. Bye.